all began with blood. Not just any blood, but a very specific kind. A blood unlike anything the world had ever seen. A blood with strange properties. A blood with potential. You came from a faraway land. Not for glory, not for knowledge, but for survival. A sickness had taken hold of you. Something relentless. Something that no medicine could cure. Your body was failing, and Yharnam was your last hope. You had heard the stories. A city where healing was possible, where miracles were performed through something known as blood ministration, a practice said to cure any disease, no matter how severe. And so you came. Now you sit in a dimly lit room. Candles flicker softly along the walls. The air smells of old wood and something metallic. Your body feels weak, feverish. You can barely move. An old man stands before you. His eyes are clouded. His voice is low, measured. He speaks slowly, almost as if he has done this countless times before. You've come for the blood, have you not? You nod. You don't have the strength for words. He studies you, then gives a quiet, knowing smile. Oh yes, pale blood. You've come to the right place. He tells you that Yharnam is the home of blood ministration, that everything you seek can be found here, but not freely. Before anything can begin, you must sign a contract, an oath. You hesitate, but only for a moment, because you already know the truth. You have no choice. Your hand trembles as you sign. The old man nods, satisfied. Good, all signed and sealed. He prepares the transfusion. Strange tools, old instruments, ancient, almost ritualistic. This blood is not ordinary. His voice lowers. But do not worry. He leans closer. Whatever happens, you may think it all a mere bad dream. The needle enters. Warmth spreads through your veins. At first comforting, then overwhelming. Your vision begins to blur. Your thoughts dissolve. And just before everything fades, you see something. A creature, dark crawling, reaching toward you. Then, nothing. Silence. Until you wake. But something is different. You are no longer the same. You are no longer just a patient. You are now a hunter, and the night has only just begun. Yharnam was not always like this. Once it was a city of wonder, a place where the impossible became reality. Through the miracle of blood, people were healed, cured of diseases that had once been considered fatal. Word spread quickly. Travelers came from distant lands. Scholars, nobles, the desperate, all seeking the same thing, relief. And for a time, Yharnam flourished. But that prosperity came at a cost, because the blood was never meant for humans. At first, the changes were subtle, small, easy to ignore, but over time, they became impossible to deny. The people began to change. Their minds, their bodies, their very nature. The blood gave them strength, but but it also awakened something else, something buried deep within, a hunger, a madness, and eventually they were no longer human. They became beasts. The streets of Yharnam are now drenched in blood. The scent of it lingers in the air, heavy, unavoidable. The citizens, what remains of them, wander the streets in a frenzy. Once proud people, now reduced to something unrecognizable. Creatures driven by instinct, by violence, by an endless thirst. The healing church knew. They saw what the blood was doing, what it was turning people into. But instead of stopping, they chose to hide it. They created hunters, men and women tasked with a single purpose: to eliminate the beasts, silently, relentlessly. And now you are one of them. Your past is gone, your purpose unclear. All that remains is the hunt and a single message scrawled on the ground: seek pale blood to transcend the hunt. You don't understand it, not yet, but it's all you have, and so you follow it. The streets of central Yharnam stretch before you, cobblestone paths slick with blood, narrow alleys swallowed by fog. Lanterns flicker weakly in the darkness, barely enough to see by. And somewhere in the distance, you hear it, a low, guttural growl. The city is alive, but not in the way it once was. You return briefly to the clinic, the place where you first awoke. A voice calls out from behind a closed door. I'm sorry, I cannot open this door. Her name is Ioska, a woman tending to patients inside. She fears infection, fears what you might bring inside. I know you hunt for us, but I cannot risk it. She offers you a small vial, a gesture of gratitude, then sends you away. Please understand, and good hunting. You leave. Just outside, you notice something, a lantern. It glows softly, unlike anything else in the city. Curious, you reach out. The moment you touch it, the world shifts. The streets vanish. The fog dissolves, and you find yourself somewhere else. A quiet place, still, detached from reality. This is the hunter's dream. And here, you are not alone. A figure approaches, graceful, calm. She introduces herself simply as the doll. Hello, good hunter. Her voice is gentle, almost soothing. She explains that this place exists to guide hunters, that as you gather the echoes of blood, she can channel them, strengthen you. You will hunt beasts, and I will be here for you. She speaks of another, a man named Jayaman. You find him in a workshop nearby, old, seated in a wheelchair. He barely looks at you. You must be the new hunter. His tone is casual, detached. Don't think too hard about all this. He gestures vaguely. Just go out and kill a few beasts. He pauses. You'll get used to it. This place, the hunter's dream, feels safe, but it is not your purpose. Your purpose lies out there in the streets of Yharnam. And so, you return. You step once more into the streets of Yharnam, this time with purpose. The night feels heavier now, as if the city itself is watching you, waiting. Torches burn in the distance. Groups of townsfolk gather in the streets. But these are not survivors. They are hunters, or at least they believe they are. Their clothes are tattered, their movements erratic, their voices filled with hatred. Burn it all. Kill the beasts. They don't see you as one of them. To them, you are an outsider, a foreigner, a threat, and so they attack. You fight back, not out of anger, not out of pride, but because you must. This is what hunters do. As you move deeper into central Yharnam, you begin to see the scale of the disaster. Creatures roam freely. Dogs, their skin peeled back to raw muscle. Men twisted into hunched, violent shapes. Giants dragging weapons through the streets. Everywhere you look, there is evidence of what the blood has done. And yet, not everyone has turned. Behind a shuttered window, a voice calls out, "Oi, you there." You approach cautiously. A man speaks from inside, his voice weak but clear. "My name's Gilbert." He too is an outsider. He laughs softly. Yharnam has a way of welcoming guests. You ask him about pale blood. He pauses. Pale blood. Can't say I've heard of it. But he gives you something else. Direction. If it's blood you're after, try the healing church. They control everything. He tells you of a place, the cathedral ward, where the church resides, where their secrets are kept. That's your best bet. It isn't much, but it's enough. You continue forward. The deeper you go, the more unstable the city becomes. You begin to notice something strange. The hunt is not just chaos. It feels organized, as if this night was expected, prepared for, almost ritualistic. You press on. Eventually, you encounter something new. A hunter, not a beast, not a mad townsfolk. Something different. She watches you carefully. You're a hunter, aren't you? Her name is Eileen. The crow. Her presence is calm, but her words carry weight. Tonight of all nights, prepare yourself. She explains something important. Not all hunters remain hunters. Some lose themselves, driven mad by blood, by the hunt, by the endless killing. And when that happens, they become something worse than beasts. My job, she says quietly, is to hunt them. She studies you one last time. Without fear in our hearts, we're little different from the beasts themselves. Then she disappears into the night. Her words linger, because deep down, you know she's right. You continue through the city. Eventually, you hear something unexpected. A child's voice, soft, afraid. You follow it. A small window. A little girl inside. Are you a hunter? She cannot see you, but she knows what you are. She asks for your help. Her father went out on the hunt. He never came back. Her mother went looking for him, and now she is gone too. I'm all alone. Her voice trembles. She gives you something. A music box. It plays one of Daddy's favorite songs. She explains that when her father forgot who he was, they would play it, and it would bring him back, even if only for a moment. She asks you to find her mother. She tells you what to look for. A red jeweled brooch. You promise to try, but something feels off. You don't say it out loud, but you already know. Yharnam does not return people. Still, you take the music box and move on. The hunt grows more intense. The beasts grow larger, more aggressive, and then you encounter it. Your first true nightmare. A massive creature towering over the bridge. The cleric beast. Its body is elongated, twisted, bones stretched beyond human limits. Its movements are fast, violent, almost impossible, but something about it feels familiar. The name, the shape. It was once human, perhaps even a member of the church. You fight it. The battle is brutal, unforgiving, but eventually you bring it down, and in that moment you begin to understand. This is not just a hunt. This is a consequence of something far worse. You continue forward, pushing deeper into the city. Eventually, you find him, Father Gascoigne, a hunter standing alone, covered in blood. He speaks without turning, beasts all over the shop. His voice is strained, unstable. You'll be one of them, sooner or later. He turns to face you, and in his eyes, you see it. He is already losing himself. You prepare to fight, but before the battle truly begins, something happens. You remember the music box. You use it. A soft melody fills the air. Gascoigne freezes. For a moment, he remembers. His movements slow. His voice falters, but it doesn't last. The blood has taken too much. The fight continues, more violent now, more desperate. And then, it happens. He transforms, fully, into a beast. What remains of the man is gone. You have no choice. You end it. As he falls, you hear something, faint, almost like a whisper. Forgive me. Silence follows. You stand there for a moment, then continue. Not far from there, you find it. A body, a woman, wearing a red jeweled brooch. The girl's mother. And suddenly, everything becomes clear. Gascoigne, the hunter, the father, he never forgot them. He lost himself, and she came looking for him. Without the music box, there was no way to bring him back. And so, she died, caught between a hunter and a beast. You take the brooch. You don't know why. Maybe to return it. Maybe for closure. But deep down, you know the truth. There There's no good ending here. Still, you return to the little girl. You don't tell her everything. You can't. Instead, you offer her a choice. A safe place. Edun Chapel. She agrees, trusting you, believing you, and that is the hardest part. Later, you go to check on her, but she never made it. The path she took led through the sewers. You search, and then you find it. A ribbon covered in blood, the same ribbon she wore. And nearby, a beast. You understand immediately. You end it, but it doesn't change anything. The girl is gone. Another life, lost to Yharnam. When you return, you meet someone else. Her sister. She asks about her. You give her the ribbon. She understands, without needing words. And just like that, another family is gone. Completely erased. This is Yharnam. Not just beasts, not just blood, but loss. Constant, unforgiving. You leave the streets of central Yharnam behind. But the hunt does not grow quieter. It only changes. The path ahead leads upward, toward the cathedral ward, toward the healing church, the place where it all began. The air here feels different, still heavy, but more controlled. Less chaos, more silence, almost as if something is being hidden. You pass through towering gates, ancient stone, worn by time, but they were not always open. A note nearby reveals something important. When the hunt began, the healing church left us. They blocked the great bridge to the cathedral ward. You pause. The church abandoned the city, not to protect it, but to protect themselves. Another line follows, as old Yharnam burned to the ground. Old Yharnam, this city, is not the first. And suddenly, a new question forms. How many times has this happened? You step deeper into the ward. The architecture is grand. Cathedrals stretching toward the sky. Statues carved in reverence. A place of worship, but also a place of control. Because here, the truth begins to reveal itself. The healing church was built on blood, not metaphorically, literally. They discovered something long ago, deep beneath Yharnam, in ancient ruins, a place known as the Labyrinth, also called the Tomb of the Gods, buried far below the surface. This labyrinth was not empty. It belonged to a civilization older than anything known. The Pethumerians. They were not quite human. Humanoid, yes, but different, ancient, pale, almost eternal. They lived beneath the earth, guarding something, because deep within the labyrinth, they had discovered beings, not gods, not creatures, something beyond both. The great ones, eldritch beings, existing beyond human understanding. They did not follow the same rules as reality. They could exist across multiple planes, multiple dimensions. They were everywhere, And nowhere the Pethumerians did not try to control them. They did not try to become them. They simply worshipped them, respected them, and protected them. In return, the Great Ones gave them something. Their blood, the old blood. It was powerful. It could heal wounds, cure disease, extend life, but it came with a cost. The Pethumerians began to change. Their bodies altered, their forms twisted. They became something unnatural, but they accepted it because they understood something important. The Great Ones were not meant to be understood, only respected. Over time, the Pethumerians built a civilization around this belief. They created a monarchy. A queen would rule, and her role was more than symbolic. She would bear a child, not just any child, a child of the Great Ones, because the Great Ones could not reproduce on their own. They needed surrogates, humans, or something close to them. The first of these queens was Queen Yharnam. She carried a child, a Great One's child. This was not seen as a curse. It was seen as an honor, a sacred role, a connection between worlds. But over time, something changed. The Pethumerians grew greedy. The blood gave them power, and they wanted more. They saw what it did to the queen, the strength, the transformation, and they desired it, not through reverence, but through control. And so, they committed a terrible act. They took the queen's blood. By force, they killed her, and the child was taken from her, a stillborn Great One. This act changed everything. The Great Ones did not forgive. They cursed them, a blood curse. Anyone who sought the blood would eventually lose themselves, their minds, their humanity. They would become beasts. This was the origin, the true beginning of the scourge, and centuries later, the healing church found it. They discovered the labyrinth. They found the old blood, and they made the same mistake. But worse, because they believed they could control it, they built an entire religion around it. They offered it to the people, promised healing, promised salvation, and for a time, it worked. But the curse never left. It only waited. You reach the grand cathedral. Inside, a figure kneels in prayer. Her name is Amelia, a high-ranking member of the church. She clutches a pendant, a symbol of someone important. Lawrence, the founder of the healing church. Even now, his presence lingers. Amelia begins to pray, her voice trembling, desperate, and then she changes. Her body twists, her form expands, fur, bone, claws. She becomes a beast, just like the others, just like all of them. Even the highest ranks of the church are not immune. You fight her, and you end it. When she falls, something strange happens. A memory, a vision, two figures. One speaks, We are born of the blood, made men by the blood, undone by the blood. The other responds, fear the old blood. These words echo. They stay with you, because now you understand. The blood was never salvation. It was always a curse. And the church knew it, but they chose it anyway. As you leave the cathedral, you realize something else. The night is changing. The sky grows darker. The moon shifts. Something is coming. Something far worse than beasts. Because the truth of Yharnam is no longer hidden. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. The hunt is no longer just about survival. It is about understanding. And that is far more dangerous. After the fall of Amelia, the world does not return to normal. It changes. At first, it is subtle. The air feels heavier, the silence deeper. Then you notice it. The sky, the moon is different. It hangs lower now, larger, and its color is wrong, a deep, unnatural red. The blood moon. Something has been revealed. Or perhaps something has been unsealed. You begin to see things. Shapes clinging to buildings. Massive, unmoving. At first, you think they are statues. But they breathe. Slow, heavy. These are not decorations. They were always there. You simply could not perceive them. Your insight has grown, and with it, your understanding, but also your burden, because the more you see, the less human the world becomes. You return briefly to the hunter's dream. Jamin is different. Restless, he mutters to himself, "Someone please, unshackle me." He sounds desperate, afraid. For the first time, you realize something. He is not in control. He is trapped, just like you. But before you can fully understand it, you are drawn back into the waking world. The hunt has entered a new phase. The line between reality and something else is beginning to blur. You press onward. Your path leads you to a place spoken of before. By the vision, by the warning, by the church's past. A place called by Genworth, once a great institution. A place of learning. Now, silent, abandoned. You approach slowly. The building stands alone, near a lake, still, unmoving, almost untouched by the chaos of Yharnam. But that silence is not peace. It is something else, something waiting. Inside, you find remnants of scholars, notes, books, fragments of knowledge, and one truth becomes clear. This is where it all began. Before the church, before the blood, there was Baya Genworth, and at its center, a man, Master Willem. He was the first to study the great ones, the first to uncover the truth beneath the world. But unlike the church, he feared it. He believed that humanity should not ascend through blood, but through insight, through understanding, through perception. eyes on the inside. Not literal at first, but over time, that idea changed. The scholars began experimenting, trying to force evolution, trying to see what should not be seen. Willem warned them, fear the old blood, but his student did not listen. Lawrence, he left Biogenworth and founded the Healing Church, choosing blood over insight. That choice doomed everything. As you explore deeper, you find Willem himself, old, silent, sitting in a chair. He does not speak. He only points toward the lake. You follow his gesture and step forward. The surface of the water shimmers, then breaks, and you fall into something else, a place beneath reality. And there you find it, roamed, the vacuous spider, a creature unlike anything before, pale, still, almost peaceful. But something is wrong. You can feel it. Rome is not just a creature. It is a seal, a barrier, holding something back. You fight, but this battle is different. Rome does not rage, does not chase. It simply exists, defending itself. And when you strike the final blow, the illusion breaks completely. The sky tears open. The blood moon descends fully, and the truth is revealed. The creatures you glimpsed before are now everywhere. Great ones, clinging to buildings, watching. The world is no longer hiding them, and neither are they hiding from you. You hear something, a sound that has been present all along, but now it is unmistakable. A cry, a child, wailing, echoing across the city, across reality itself. You now understand. The nightmare is not random. It is centered on something. Someone, a child, a great one's child, and its existence is tearing the world apart. You awaken again, but not where you expect. Yharnam, the unseen village, a place that was always there, hidden, now fully revealed. The streets are filled with corpses, bodies piled together, twisted, fused. Something terrible happened here, or is still happening. You begin to see figures, hooded women, ringing bells, calling something, summoning. Their voices echo, but they do not speak. They chant, and with each sound, the air distorts. Creatures appear, abominations, not beasts, not human, something constructed. You push forward, through broken streets, through ritual grounds, and slowly you understand. This is not chaos. This is a ritual. The school of Menses, a group born from the church, but more extreme, more obsessed. They did not just seek the great ones. They tried to reach them, to contact them, to force a connection. They believed that through ritual, they could ascend, become something greater. And so, they created a vessel, a womb, for a great one. That vessel was the child, Murgo, the child of Queen Yharnam, the same child, taken long ago, the same child that should never have existed. The ritual succeeded, but not in the way they hoped. Their minds shattered, their bodies left behind, their consciousness trapped inside a nightmare. You reach the center, and there you see it, the one reborn, a mass of bodies, flesh fused together, limbs, faces, bones, all writhing as one. A failed attempt, a broken god. You fight it, end it, but it changes nothing, because the ritual is still active. The child is still crying, and the nightmare continues. A note nearby reveals your purpose. Find the newborn and silence its harrowing cry. That is the key. Not the church, not the beasts, the child. Everything leads back to it. You ascend beyond the waking world into the nightmare of Mensis, a place where reality no longer follows rules. Bridges twist into the sky. Walls bleed into each other. Time feels broken, and at its center, a man waits. Mikolash, the host of the nightmare, once a scholar, now something else. He speaks in riddles, laughs, obsessed. Grant us eyes, grant us eyes. He chased knowledge and found madness. You pursue him through corridors, through illusions, until you corner him and end it. With his death, the path opens, and the crying grows louder. You are close now, very close. The truth is within reach, but so is something else. The end. You move deeper into the nightmare of Mensis. The air is thick, heavy, almost suffocating. The architecture bends around you. Walls stretch, bridges twist into impossible shapes. This place was not built. It was formed, shaped by thought, by madness, by obsession, and at the very top, you find it, the source of the crying, Murgo's loft. The sound is constant now, a child's cry, not loud, but endless. It echoes through everything. You step forward, and something emerges. A figure, tall, dark. Its form shifts like smoke. Multiple arms, blades in each. No face, no eyes, only movement. This is the wet nurse, guardian of the child. Not speaking, not thinking, only protecting. You prepare yourself, because this is the final barrier. The fight begins. The creature moves unnaturally, its limbs slicing through the air. It does not hesitate, does not react. It simply executes its purpose. The world darkens around you. Shadows stretch. Time itself feels unstable. But you endure. You strike again and again until finally the creature falters and falls. The blades go still. The shadows fade. And then silence. The crying stops completely. No echo, no trace, just silence. You stand there for a moment because something important has just happened. The nightmare has lost its anchor. Murgo is gone, not killed, but released. And in that moment, a presence appears. Queen Yharnam, the same figure tied to the past, to the child, to the beginning. She stands before you, blood staining her dress, eyes filled with something ancient. Not anger, not hatred, relief. She bows silently and disappears. The cycle has been broken, but the hunt is not over. You return to the hunter's dream, but something feels wrong. The sky above it is burning. The great tree is engulfed in flame. The dream is collapsing, ending, and there, beneath the tree, he waits, Jayaman, still seated, still calm, as if he has been expecting you. Good hunter, his voice is quiet. The night is near its end. He offers you a choice. Mercy, if you accept, you will awaken, free from the dream, free from the hunt. You will forget everything, all the horror, all the truth, gone, a simple life, a clean ending. But you refuse, because now you understand too much. The blood, the curse, the great ones, the dream itself. You cannot walk away. Not anymore. Jayaman sighs, almost relieved. Dear, oh dear. Tonight, Jayaman joins the hunt. He stands, for the first time, and draws his weapon. The first hunter, your final opponent. The fight begins. He moves with precision, grace, experience beyond anything you have faced. Every strike, perfect, every movement, intentional. This is not a beast. This is a hunter. At his peak, you fight everything you've learned, everything you've endured. It all comes down to this. And in the end, you win. Jayaman falls, not in anger, not in fear, but in peace, freed from the dream, from the endless cycle. But before you can process it, something descends. The air freezes, the world trembles, and then you see it, the moon presence, a great one, the true master of the dream. It was never Jayaman. He was only a servant, a puppet, just like every hunter before you. The creature moves toward you. Slowly, deliberately, it reaches out and embraces you. If you had chosen differently, this would be the end. You would become the next servant, bound to the dream, replacing Jayaman. But you did something else. You consumed the umbilical cords, fragments of great ones, pieces of insight. And because of that, you resist. The moon presence recoils. For the first time, it hesitates because you are no longer just human. You have changed, and now you can fight back. The final battle begins. It is unlike anything before. The creature moves in ways that defy logic. Its presence alone feels overwhelming, as if reality itself rejects it. But you stand your ground, because you are no longer bound by the same rules. You strike again and again. The fight is brutal, but eventually it falls. The moon presence is defeated. The dream begins to collapse. The fire fades. The sky softens, and everything becomes quiet. You feel yourself changing, not dying, transforming. Your body dissolves. Your form shifts. Something new begins to take shape. You are no longer human. You are no longer a hunter. You have become a great one, not fully grown, not yet understood, but something beyond what you once were, an infant of the cosmos. The doll approaches. Gently, she kneels beside you, cradles your new form. Good hunter. Her voice is soft, warm, and for the first time, there is something real in it. Care. Are you cold? She smiles faintly and lifts you gently, as if protecting you, guiding you into whatever comes next. Because this was never just a hunt. It was a journey, a question. What does it mean to become more than human? The healing church believed it was through blood. Biogenworth believed it was through insight. Mensis believed it was through force. But all of them failed because they misunderstood something fundamental. Ascension is not control. It is not power. It is not domination. It is transformation. And transformation requires loss. Loss of identity. Loss of certainty. Loss of everything you once believed. The hunters who came before you could not accept that. They clung to their humanity or rejected it completely. And in doing so, they became monsters. But you chose something different. You faced the truth. You endured it. And you let go, not of your will, but of your limitations. And in that moment, you transcended, not as a conqueror, but as something new, something unknown. The nightmare ends, but the story does not, because now a new dream begins.